Hello everyone, welcome back. It is day 6 now. So just to recap on what we did on the previous day, yesterday. So we started to introduce some variables, some added repetitions, some added sets to start challenging and building upon what we've already experienced, what we've already engaged in terms of exercise. This is really to help develop those movements, develop the strength in the muscles, and like I kind of prefaced in the beginning, we want to see that natural progression where we're gaining some momentum, we're gaining some strength, we're building upon our skills, we're growing, getting stronger. So today I'm going to introduce a couple of new exercises, but again, I want us to start thinking about where is this going to be applicable in my life, where are my limitations, where are my challenges, what exercises are going to be conducive to me in my areas of daily living. Perhaps things like getting up out the chair can be quite challenging. I want to start developing my sit to stands, my knee bends as well. Perhaps balance is a little bit wobbly, and that's something I want to again develop, I want to grow. So I guess what I'm asking for is us to cultivate an element of mindfulness and introspection in today's class, but I will be playing with those variables again, and making this a little bit more challenging than days 4 and 5. So we're going to begin from a seated position today, because I want to introduce a different mobility exercise. Find your seat again. If we are comfy at the back, let's hip walk to the front third of the chair. Up nice and tall, chest is open, head high, and we're marching again, ladies and gents. We're warming up. Really good. I think we're all very familiar with the warm-up now. We all know how we're trying to get some of the stiffness out, get the blood working, moving to those working muscles, getting us nice and prepped for exercise. And in 3, 2, 1, stop with the legs into those arms. Really good. Engaging with those shoulders, elbows. Again, thinking about what is this going to help me with when I'm reaching things near me. I'm grabbing my tea, grabbing my coffee, reaching for the remote control. And a little challenge if we can, ladies and gents. We're going to put them together in 3, 2, 1. Going legs and arms at the same time. Perfect. Making sure we're breathing in 3, 2, 1. Let's relax right there. I'm going to introduce the new mobility exercise straight away. So without wasting any time, what we're going to do is, again, being wary of that posture, we want to be on the front third of the chair, feet firmly on the floor, nice and tall back, open chest, high head. We're going to cross the arms in front of us. And whichever side of your choice, we're very gently going to twist to one side, going within our comfort ranges, coming back to center. Opposite side, twisting all the way around, making sure the head is following, and middle. Back to the first side, coming, twisting all the way around, and center. Opposite side now, coming all the way around, feeling a slight stretch in the lower back, and middle. Back to the first side, coming all the way around, and center. Other side, and center. Once more for each side, coming all the way around, twisting from the chest, and middle, opposite side, and middle. Really good, and relaxed for me there. So that movement, we're working on the spine there. If you imagine from the waist down, trying to keep a nice solid base, nice and firm, and we're just twisting from this upper portion here. We're twisting from the spine, coming all the way around. We're exploring those ranges of movement through that twisting motion. If you are sat down and you have a table beside you, you're twisting round to grab your tea, grab your biscuits, things of that nature. Okay? We're going to move into some other mobility exercises. We are going to, let's do some shoulder rolls. So front third of the chair again. Nice and tall back. We're shrugging up to those shoulders, coming down nice and control. Up to the shoulders, down nice and control. Shrugging up to those earlobes and coming down. Last one, shrugging up and relaxing down. And again, ladies and gents, if you take a profile look at me, I can play around with a little roll in there as well, really making sure I'm exploring all the available movement that can get lost over time. What we're going to do now is get to our standing position. So front third of the chair, heels underneath, hands on either side, nose over toes, and 3, 2, 1, pushing through the palms, pushing through the balls of the feet, through the heels, little leg march. Really good, come to standing. And then we're going to come round the back of our chairs, taking as many steps as we like. And we're comfy, we're back here. Just want to make sure I'm still in frame and you can see me. Right, from here, I'm still feeling a little bit stiff in my ankles, and I'm wary we're going to do some balance exercise. So we're just going to go through some heel to toes. So popping that heel on the floor, then the toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Last one, heel and toe. Really pointing that big toe. Opposite foot now, again making sure we can all see that heel is on the floor. Popping the toe, heel, toe, heel and toe. Last one, heel and toe, and relax. So here, ladies and gents, remember we would do our endurance component, that 5 to 7 minutes of continuous moving, elevating the heart rate, getting the lungs working, exercising our stamina, as it were. But for time's sake, I'm going to move into the balance components. So we're going to begin with some knee bends. Because we would have been nice and warm after endurance. Well, you are going to be nice and warm, because I hope you would have paused the video, done some endurance, and then engaged in some balance work. But again, we want to have feet just wider than shoulder width apart. I'm going to have a nice wide base that supports us. Just going to make sure I'm still in frame and you can see me. My chest is nice and open, head is tall. I have my support option here. I'm looking forward to where I'm going. The bottom's coming back, a little bend in the knees and up nice and tall. I'm going to go for 5 here, but we're going to do 2 sets again, adding those variables in. Little break in the bottom, bend in the knees, up nice and tall. Excellent. Let's go 3. Bottom's coming back, slight bend in the knees and up. Really making sure we're pushing through those heels on the way up. 4, bottom's coming back, slight bend and push. Last one, bottom's coming back, slight bend and coming back up to standing. You're going to feel your thighs engaged there, back of thigh, calves as well, ankles stabilizing us. This is a balance exercise, so it's okay to feel a little bit wobbly, especially in the lower thirds of those movements there. Take a break, take a breather, find your poise, find your balance in center. And we're going to go for another 5. Again, it's very important that we play with these variables to challenge ourselves. We're adding some volume now. All in all, we would have done 10 knee bends altogether after this. So we're starting to add those repetitions in with the aid of a little break in between. Once we're ready, come back to your original position. I'm going to change so we can all see from a different side now. And again, I'm going to reiterate this. If we are having, because it's quite a complex movement, if you imagine there's a small chair behind me and I'm just going to go and sit down, but no, I'm not. Really good mental cue to help you ascertain the kind of movement we're looking for here. So again, I have my base of support. Again, when we're talking about variability, making it a little bit more challenging, if you've been comfortable so far, why don't you try with one hand on your base of support, okay? It's still there if you need to, but if you've been feeling like you're making good progress, try with one hand. And for the show-offs, maybe no hand, but I'm gonna go one hand. So, breaking from the bottom's coming back, slight bend in the knees, up nice and tall. Number 2, bottom's coming back, slight bend in the knees, up nice and high, pushing through the balls of the heels. Remember, I'm upright all the time, I'm not leaning over, my head isn't coming down, it's straight ahead of me. Bottom's coming back for 3, slight bend in the knees, pushing through the balls of the heels, up nice and tall. Let's go 4. I'm trying to sit in that small chair behind me, just about to touch it, but no. Last one, number 5. Bottom's coming back to meet that chair, and I'm pushing up through those heels to standing. Good stuff. Excellent work. Excellent work. I understand it can get a little bit dark in here, but hopefully you're seeing the silhouette, at least, of the movement. So we did 2 sets there. Like I said, we're building upon our skills, adding more volume, adding more reps, and it's really going to help develop those muscles, develop those traits in balance, and overall help us when we're moving around from place to place. And you can see how that movement itself is going to facilitate things like getting up from a seated position, standing up, going upstairs. Even the same muscles are working when we're moving upstairs in that regard. We're going to go into a different balance exercise next. This is going to be a heel to toe stand. So before we did the one leg, I'm going to try something a little bit different. Have your support option side on, okay? I'm going to be facing one direction. Our support option is side on, and I'm very wary. The key in this is at my feet. So hopefully my feet are in shot. Yes, they are. So I have one hand on my support option. Either side is fine, whichever you're most comfortable with to start. We're going to come to side, and having a look at my feet now, one foot is going to come forward and the other I'm just tucking in behind me. So you can see my right toe is meeting my left heel. So it's a heel to toe stand. Now I'm very wary again of my posture, coming up nice and straight, open chest. I'm looking where I'm going. I'm just trying to hold that position for 10 seconds. You're going to notice the pressure coming through your heels, through your toes as we try and maintain that position. You can feel a little wobbly, that's fine. You're holding onto the base of support. I reckon that's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then come back to standing. You're going to notice again, we're playing around with the surface area here. So if you imagine me standing like a normal human being, I have a wide base of support here. I'm covering quite a lot of ground with both my feet. If I'm reducing my surface area to this very, very singular plane here, it's almost as if I'm on a tightrope. But you can see now how I'm struggling a little bit more to keep my balance. So I'm challenging my balance in this way, and we're just redirecting the weight, our body weight, on a smaller surface area. And you can really feel that through the heels, through the big toe. What we're going to do now, we're going to swap other way around. So if we were right toe, left heel, now we're going to be left toe, right heel, excuse me. I have my base of support here. I'm standing side on, nice tall chest. I'm putting that right foot forward, left toe is coming to meet, and then I'm going to try and maintain that again for as long as I can. And as you get better at this, you can start to reduce the amount of use you use from your support. It's there if you need it, but if you can start to take a couple fingers away, start to test your balance out until perhaps you have no need to hold on to it at all. And we're holding that again. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and back to full standing. Good stuff. Again, I'm trying to emphasize here how we can play around with different variables such as the surface area to create a little bit of a challenge, because there are some occasions I'm thinking about those pesky cracks in the pavement, uneven surface area, or if you need to squeeze through a tight gap in the alleyway, you might need to bring your walking pattern, if you look at my feet, a little bit closer together. So we're walking on a tightrope, or you're squeezing in between two people when you're walking on the sidewalk, sound American, on the pavement. But you can see how, again, you might need to bring your feet, bring your walking pattern to a little bit narrower, and you're a little bit more mindful about how you can be. That weight can go from the left side to the right side. So this is a really excellent exercise to challenge that. We're going to move into some strength now. So we did a couple balance exercises, excuse me. We're going to move into strength. What we're going to do is we are going to go straight into our heel raises, so we can see. Again, we have our base of support here, and we played around with adding a little reach last time. What we're going to do, we're going to do 2 sets this time, so we're adding a set and we're playing with the variation of how we execute the exercise. So if you're with me, and again, you can have one hand away for the reach and you can have both hands, but I'm going to start with one hand. Open chest, head is nice and high. I'm looking where I'm going. If you have a look at my feet, I'm pushing through that big toe, coming nice and high, reaching for that shelf, coming down nice and controlled. That's 1. Let's go 2, pushing up through those toes, reaching nice and high, and coming back down on those heels. Excellent. Let's go 3. Pushing up, big toe nice and high, reaching for that shelf, coming down. Let's go 4. Pushing up, feeling that contraction at the back of the lower leg, coming back down. Last one now. We're going to add a pause at the top. So we're pushing up, coming to reach that upper shelf, pausing for 2, 1, coming down nice and control and relax. Oh, excellent. Really well done there. So there's a couple of things we're playing around with. Adding a pause at the end just to feel the contractions of the calf muscles, and playing around with a nice controlled tempo. You're going to notice we're not dropping. When we're getting up nice and high, we're not dropping downwards. We're coming down with control and intention. That's very, very important to stress. I'm going to swap round just so we can see different angle. If you were reaching with the right hand, you can swap over to the left hand now, just to give the arm a rest. And again, you might even feel a little bit of fatigue in the shoulders. That position, getting your hands up quite high, isn't something that we're commonly using and exercising. So you might notice a little bit of fatigue, especially in that upper portion of the shoulder. But if we're ready for our second set now, swapping hands, chest open, head nice and tall. We're pushing through that big toe up nice and high, reaching that shelf, coming down nice and controlled. Excellent. Number 2, I'm pushing up through the big toe, reaching, feeling the contraction, coming down back onto the balls of the feet. And 3, pushing up, reaching, feeling the contraction, coming back down, nice and controlled. Let's go 4, really pushing through that big toe nice and tall, and coming down with control. Excellent. Last one. Wait for the pause. Pushing up, reaching, wait for the pause, holding for 2, 1, and again with control and intention back down. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Tempo there is great. The reason we emphasize tempo is we do things with intention. When we open a door, when we're reaching up, we're trying to be very controlled and controlled over our body and our movements, which again, you can see how a degree of balance is going to be challenged there. If you're up on that smaller surface area on the tips of your toes, coming down, you can see how you're going to feel a little bit wobbly and you're going to be tested a bit. But great stuff. Let's give those calves a rest now. We're going to move on to some sit to stands. Again, talking about breaking up periods of sedentary activity. We're going to, yesterday we did eight repetitions. We're going to break it down into 5 and 5 now. So we're going to do 10 overall, but we're giving ourselves a little bit of a break in the middle. Takes as many steps as you need. Come round the front. Breaking at the hips again, feeling for the back of the knees. Hands come to meet the chair, we're nice and comfy. Shuffle to the front third, and let's get straight into it while the muscles are nice and warm. Heels underneath us, hands either side, nose over toes, and 3, and 2, and 1. Pushing through those heels, pushing off the palms, coming up nice and tall. Always remember the paddle, ladies and gents. We want to make sure we're not feeling faint or dizzy. I can occasionally shoot up too quickly and I feel a little bit dizzy. Coming back, walking back, feeling for the chair, backs of the knees, bottoms coming back, hands comes to meet the chair, and we're hip walking again for number 2. Heels underneath, hands either side. Remember, if you've got armchairs, they can just rest on the ends. Nose over toes, and in 3, and 2, and 1, pushing from the heels up nice and tall, off the palms, little paddle again. Good stuff. Walking back, feeling for the chair, bottoms coming back, hands comes to meets the chair, and we're hip walking for 3. Good stuff. We want to make sure we've got a flow going on here. And again, like I emphasized with the heel raises, control. So let's try and make this 3rd rep really nice and controlled. So nose over toes, and we're doing this on 3 and 2 and 1, pushing up onto the heels, nice and controlled. We're paddling the legs, we're coming back. This is where the control comes into it. So remember our knee bends, we're controlling this, we're coming gently down to meet the chair. We're not dropping onto the chair at all. Hip walking for 4, nose over toes, heels tucked in, palms to chair. 3, 2, 1, pushing up nice and tall, open chest, head high, and we're paddling again. Let's come back for 5, walking backwards to meet the chair, bottom back, little bend, control downwards, nice and relaxed. Last repetition for this set. On the edge, everything tucked under, we're ready to go in 3, 2, 1, pressing through those heels, up nice and tall, little paddle. And walking back, feeling for the chair, and again that control, nice and slowly down, and rest for just a moment. Okay, so have a little rest, have a little breather. We're going to do another 5. Again, I do want to stress that control element when we're breaking at the hips, coming down. We're not slamming ourselves or dropping onto the chair, waiting for it to catch us. We are in control, we are in management, we are in self-government over our bodies here. And when we're ready to go, I think we've had enough rest. We'll do another 5, so hip walking forwards, getting those heels underneath us, hands either side, nose over toes, let's go. 3, 2, 1, pushing up from the palms, balls of the feet, nice and high, little paddle. Walking back, meet the chair, hips go back, nice and controlled downwards, and we're hip walking. Might even notice a little bit of fatigue sitting into your hips as we're continually hip walking forward, but let's go for 2, nose over toes, 3, 2, 1, pushing up from those heels, off the palms, little paddle, and again, walking, meet the chair, hips go back, nice and controlled, sinking downwards, and we're hip walking. We should really be feeling warm now in the thighs, backs of the thighs, calves as well are still helping us out. Let's go 3, 2, 1, off the palms, balls of the feet, nice and tall, little paddle, walking back. Knees, backs of the knees hit the back, coming back to meet the chair, nice and controlled. Let's go 4. I'm starting to feel it now as well. Heels underneath, palms either side, nose over toes. 3, 2, 1, pushing up. This is 4. Walking back, meeting the chair, hips go back, little bend. And last 1, 4, 5, my friends. Heels underneath, hands either side, nose over toes. 3, 2, 1, and we're pushing off nice and tall. And we're giving a little paddle. And relax. Take a stand, take a couple deep breaths. You can see how we're starting to build the intensity a little bit by changing those, changing repetitions, changing sets. What we're going to do now, because I can't show you in this position, we're going to do a wall press. I'm going to bring the camera around here. So I'm going to fade into another transition, just so how we can, because I'm very mindful, we've done a lot of lower body strength, and we can on occasion neglect the upper body, so I'm going to show you how to do that in this next slide. Okay, I'm hoping that was a smooth transition. We're in a different position now. I'm going to demonstrate a wall press, and this is typically for the upper body, chest, shoulders. You might also feel it in the backs of your arms as well. I understand we haven't paid a lot of attention to this area, but we can exercise it as well if you have a free wall available. Generally, your standing position, if I first just demonstrate that our hands are going to be quite wide, just underneath eye level, our standing position is going to dictate how challenging this exercise is. So if I'm stood quite further away, you can see all the weight is being pushed, pressed onto my palms. If I take a step in closer, I have less resistance on my palms. So do play around. If you imagine your body weight, that is the resistance element here. Further away, more challenging. Closer, a little bit easier. So do begin quite close. Hands quite far, hands just wider than shoulder width apart. Just underneath eye level here. And what we're going to do, we're going to try and keep those elbows tucked in. We don't want them flaring out. We want to keep them underneath us, supporting us. And we're just coming forward. You're going to feel the pressure in the palms. Nose is just brushing the edge of the wall, and we're pushing out again. Number 2, we're going to do 5 repetitions here. So I'm tucking my elbows in, really feeling the pressure come in my palms, pressing away. Number 3, coming towards to meet the wall, feeling the pressure in the palms and squeezing out. I think that's 4. No, this is 4. I told you, terrible at counting. Awful, simply awful. Let's go 4. We're coming towards to meet the wall, feeling the pressure in the palms and pushing off. You're going to start to feel now some of that fatigue setting in the front of the chest, the tops of the shoulders and the arms. Last one now, coming forward to meet the wall, tucking the elbows in, pressing away. Really, really good. Like I said, do play around with the variables here. If I'm standing further away, you can see how my back's a little bit, my weight's more on my palms here. You can see how that's going to be a little bit more challenging. If I'm coming in a little bit closer, less weight is being distributed through my palms. So that concludes our strength. I'm going to bring you round back to the original position, and we're going to do some stretches for those exercises. And we're back to normal. So what we're going to do now is we've just finished our strength component. We did our balance, we did our strength. Now we're going to stretch those muscles again, taking advantage of them being in a nice warm state. I'm going to make sure you can see. We just started the chest stretch. So I think it'll be very advantageous to take opportunity of the warm blood flow in our chest and our shoulders and the upper arms by giving our chest a stretch. Again, if you do want to re-warm through a little arm swing, please feel free. We can get cold, and we do like to be warm when we're stretching. First third of the chair, arms can go underneath, but if possible, if you can, reach to the back of the chair. Want to make sure you've got a good profile view of what's happening. You can even see here as I sit up in a nice straight back position with a high head, I can already feel that tension coming across the anterior compartment, the chest, the shoulders, and then gently leaning forward to exaggerate the stretch, and we're holding it there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and gently coming off there. Good stuff. That's always a great stretch for me. What we're going to do now is let's do a calf stretch. We've done quite a lot of on the tiptoes. We did 2 sets of those. Let's finish off with a calf stretch. Leg of your choice. Remember, we're thinking about that big toe. That big toe, we're curling it up towards us, and we should feel some tension in the back of that lower leg. If you can't, we're then pushing pressure just very gently now through the heel into the floor, and you should really feel that now. Holding for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Opposite side now. I'm always wary of my camera getting quite dark. Hopefully we can still see that leg is nice and long. Thinking about that big toe, curling it up towards us. And if you can't feel it, slight pressure through the heel into the floor. I feel it now, holding that there for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Relax from me there. Excellent stuff. That concludes another day, day 6. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found, again, we're starting to build upon those skills of making exercises tailored to us, a little bit more challenging, a little bit easier if it suggests so. Introduction to a wall press exercise, you can use that again and think about how you can start maybe adding more repetitions, adding more sets, changing the foot position to make it more intense, less intense. There's a lot of things we can play with. Other than that, I will see you tomorrow for day 7.